I named my YouTube channel Tim's Teachable Moments because I'm Tim, and I was trying to do just moments because there's a lot of stuff on the internet, but you don't need to talk about it all day long. Except I've done 2 videos more than an hour long. Well, one more than an hour. That was a starter motor and air oil separator replacement, start to finish on the Porsche here, because I have not found that information anywhere. I just did it and videoed it and mistakes and all. And then I did, I think, 58 minutes or something like that for how to look at it, what to look at on a deuce and a half. Everything else is just moments. This lift has got a lot of moments. I think this is my 4th or 5th video on the forward DP10S 10,000 pound 2-post uprights with a Hunter. Supposedly it's an L-201. I've also thought things about L-202 runways and alignment rack. Can't find information about that. So last video, the towers were sitting outside on blocks of wood. These things are heavy. I went to see if the carriage moved, the part that goes up and down, just a little bit. It was on a block of wood. I pulled it over onto my foot, and now I got still got a toe, but whoo, it's not the right color. These things are heavy. Thankfully, a really good friend named Shannon came over with his tractor that has a front loader, and he'd taken the bucket off and put a 10 or 12 foot boom on it. 4,000 pound capacity. It's a big 60 horsepower tractor. It could not pick up the runways, and it didn't like picking up each tower by itself. And we got in here, 12 foot tall towers. We rigged it up, got them in here, and these things are so heavy with the sling around halfway, which we should have gone higher on this one, but we didn't. I was actually bouncing on it like this, and we couldn't get it to touch the ground. And he was out of room to move up, and he had to come over here and put a 2-inch ratchet strap around here to pull it so I could get off of it. These things are heavy. So, if you see videos all the time about 2-post lift. It's just like a guy walks up, picks it up, someone else comes with him, and they just walk it up and stand it up. No. These things are solid. I'm not sure what year they are. I have no idea when Forward got rid of their Indian head logo, or what do you want to call it, war bonnet with a spear. No idea. This thing's made with thick steel. So we got the runways pretty much where we want it, and I put every vehicle I have on and off and had a little bit of trouble. So you can see the tape here is where it was. I ended up dragging it over another 3 inches at this end, which makes it so if you look up the tower at my ceiling, it's not quite square with the runners on the ceiling, but it's perfect for the door getting in and out with the lifts. All right. This thing is heavy. And the instructions say things like, let me back up. So I've been using a 2004 forward lift DP10S instructions. They say it's 137 inches from the outside of that angle iron. Make sure you can see that. Yeah, you can. 137 inches from right here to the same thing on the other side. And they say square it up, level it this way, level it that way, drill your holes, pound in your 3/4 inch studs. The lift manual says 150 foot-pounds torque once you plumb it, once you make it level. The redhead anchor studs, bolts I bought, say 110 foot-pounds. I'm going with the people who made the studs. And I will put a link to the studs and shims I bought. Where's the box of shims? I don't know where it is. Over there somewhere. I got plastic shims. I was going to just use alignment shims. I was thinking, no, I'm going to go and get plastic ones. Everyone seems to be using those. There's got to be a reason. So I'll put links to those in the description. And because I do that, I'm a member of the Amazon affiliate program. You look at it, the link, buy something, you pay the same price, I get a very small cut. Just had to tell you that though. It's written in the description. Getting this thing, it says get this one level. Well, we had it bolted. Oh, wait, keep it on the ground when we had the sling on here, was to bolt it to the cross member of the runways. And, you know, those are not small bolts, but they're a very tight fit. So we got bolted in, and I was able to use my smart camber as a level. It's between the lines, but how level is it really? I got down to 0.0 degree this way and this way, using this thing just up against here. I got it level. It is level. But it wasn't level until I put the shims in and tightened all these down to 110 foot-pounds, all 6 of them. I had to redo it a few times because it would tighten down and not be quite level. The instructions then say, with the other one standing up, to run the overhead header, bolt it to this side, bolt it to that side, and then level that one. Well, that overhead header, if it's not 100 pounds or more, I'd be surprised. That thing's heavy. And since the cables, you can see I got the cables kind of in here, goes underneath it, I thought, perfect, I'll just run the cables, and you can hear the rain in the background. We actually have rain. I figured I'll just run the cables. Then I can set it up there. Except you notice my 10-foot ladder here. Can you see that? My 10-foot yellow ladder doesn't quite go all the way to the top. It's 2 feet short. Actually more than 2 feet because it's angled. I ended up putting back in the M715 up in here. So it's the bed rails were about here. I got in the back of that, stood on the toolbox, and I could kind of reach the top. I did the cables across, and I ended up putting ratchet straps on the roof trusses, or runners, and then set the crossbar in there. And the other side's bolted down to the bottom, the runways. This one's nice and solid. That one still wobbles. Like, oh, I'm not putting any weight on that. So bolted at the bottom, got the crossbar in. Now that one's pretty set as far as not going to fall over on me, but I still need to level it. I haven't done that yet. I got to drill 6 more holes. But I just want to do an update before I got too far. And lift instructions, I've read a lot of them the last few weeks. All say, get the carriage, the part that moves, up to the first click. I don't need to do that. This thing's bolted to the ground. I got it spaced right. It's good. Well, you can't run the cable down to the pulley down there and back up again because you can't turn the corner because there's no space because the carriage is in the way. I got to pick this whole heavy thing. I got to either unbolt it, pick them up to the first click, or I got to pick the whole thing up to the first click and then run the cables to equalize. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm not sure which ways. The safer way is probably to unbolt once I get this thing anchored in and level and square, but I'm not sure getting them lined back up again. I don't know. Said teachable moments. Running the cables. Oh yeah. This carriage, when we went to put the lift in, was up. It was at the first click. And we go stand it up, we couldn't get it to go down. And I'm messing with, it's got mechanical lockouts. You move a rod, pull a rod, and down, the rod down lets the lift go down, undoes the lock. It wouldn't go down. And I was like, my lock is somehow broken. I was getting a flashlight and all kind of tools to pull on it. It was coming off the tooth. Couldn't figure it out. Finally, this is a used lift, obviously. It still had hydraulic fluid in it. So I cracked the line to that cylinder and fluid came out everywhere and the thing went slowly on down. If you're using a used lift, reassembling a used lift, it might not move like you want because there might be fluid in there holding a vacuum. or pressure. Teachable moment. I just got to get that thing square, anchor it down, then finish doing the cables and how I do it. Then hook the hydraulic hoses up, then get the power pack out, see if it even works. I don't know. And go from there. So that's the update on the forward DP10S Hunter L-201, L-202 lift. Thanks for watching.